Now we're recording.
Yeah.
Okay. You.
All right. This is episode 14.
Woohoo.
Wow.
Wow, we are moving right along there, huh? We'll start off with horror news.
Okay.
Got some really bad news.
Oh, no.
So, New Mutants.
Canceled?
We don't know yet, but it seems like Fox-Disney merger has caused it to be dumped.
It was like a finished
dumb.
product.
Finished product. They even filmed the new scenes, and as far as I understand, they were actually in the post-production process of the new scenes. And it says Fox executive has announced that it's DOA,
Wow.
dead on arrival.
Well, but the good thing there is if they're killing that off, maybe they're going to kill off all the other ones too.
All the X-Men
What about
projects.
Dark
that were
Phoenix?
planned. Dark Phoenix is coming out.
They should just kill
But
that
the
too.
Gambit. There was another X-Men movie coming out. They were going to be doing a Storm movie. All canceled. The Deadpool 3 and the actual X-Force canceled.
No.
Yes.
Ah.
Canceled. And they said that because New Mutants made it through the entire filming process, they may finish up the post-production and dump it onto
DVD?
onto
Netflix.
Oh, their channel.
Well, they can't do
No,
Netflix,
Hulu.
right? Yeah, they can't.
says it
do
might be dumped on Hulu because it was already editing all the new scenes, and they said it's more or less DOA, but they're contemplating a dump it onto Hulu and walk away from it.
Well, that'd be all right. I can't believe no X-Force.
X-Force, everything that was
Yeah,
planned
'cause-
from Fox is gone, which we kind of expected, right? Marvel wants to own their property.
I know.
They want to own the stories. Think about it. The X-Men movies, not very bad, but not very good,
No, you're right.
right?
No, you're right.
And
I
if
got you.
Marvel had their hands on it, it could be a hell of a lot better.
So maybe they'll bring back X-Force and just do it.
A true X-Force.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my hope.
Oh.
But Disney and Marvel did not officially announce anything. Kevin Feige in all his interviews says whenever someone mentions X-Men or Deadpool, he says, look, we want all of our properties and we have plans for all of our properties. End of story. So we know, I believe it's going to be great. We may have to wait till 2023 to see X-Men movies, but chances are they're going to be spectacular compared to what we've had, right?
Yeah.
Just looking at Dark Phoenix and all the commercials for it, I don't even want to watch it.
Did they kill off the Venom sequel too?
No, that's Sony.
Ugh,
Sony.
I was gonna say maybe they could kill that off too.
If only we could be so lucky.
and redo that.
If only we could be so lucky. Well, that's the thing. It was when they released the Spider-Man trailers last week. I'm thinking, wow, Marvel was probably pissed because nobody knows Spider-Man lived.
Yeah,
we don't get
right?
to see what happened.
Yeah,
How did he come to be still alive?
I thought the same thing, and then I was like, because that movie doesn't even come out till this summer. Like, why are they releasing that trailer now?
Yeah.
Those bastards.
Yeah, I'm sure Marvel wasn't happy about that release schedule for that trailer. But
Hey,
recent news earlier this week, the vampire film Lost Boys just signed a deal for a TV series.
really?
Yes.
Nice. That was a great movie.
Yeah, and I forget who the producer is that's on it, but it's pretty good. It's promising.
Yeah,
He's a good, I can't remember his name, but he's a decent horror producer, so
that's good.
I've got high hopes for it. I don't know where it's going to get dumped on. I think it's going to be on a streaming service.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Netflix. It might have been Hulu that signed it, or Fox. Hulu is part owned by Fox and ABC, and someone else is on it too. But basically, all the Fox properties were on there, like FX and FXX.
Comedy Central.
Comedy Central, all that stuff. But Disney now owns it all, so I guess Hulu is owned by Disney, which is kind of bad news because now Disney, we talked about the streaming service, they're going to move all of their films to what's called Disney Plus streaming service, and all their rated R materials, so the great Fox horror movies and whatnot, will be on Hulu.
Oh, so you gotta buy.
But this quarter, when Disney filed their 10K, because they're public company, they lost $1 billion on Hulu.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they lost $1 billion. So how does that even bode well for their new streaming service? If Hulu lost them $1 billion, how are they going to make any money with streaming? Why are they even trying to take it on? They should just give it to Netflix or Apple or someone.
Yeah, like someone who's
Someone
established
somebody
already.
got it, right? Amazon's got a huge streaming service with probably the largest number of subscribers just because they got the free shipping is what they wanted.
Right.
But they got the free video with it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Netflix has a huge number of subscribers too. That's outrageous. Why don't just dump it on or split it between the two or let them both have it and
Let 'em
take
bid.
in the profit, right?
Yeah.
$1 billion. When I saw the number, I was like, that can't be.
Yeah.
How's that even
You could
possible?
almost build a wall for that.
Yeah.
Almost.
1/5 of a wall.
Yeah.
Or 1/7. Depends on what amount he's asking for this time.
Yeah.
I didn't get to write the other stuff down, but I'll bring up the webpage when I was looking at
I saw a couple trailers.
Ghostbusters,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
the third movie.
The little teaser that came
Yeah.
out.
So what slipped today is some set pictures
Uh-huh.
and Bill Murray in costume.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
So I'm very excited about that.
That is awesome.
The only unfortunate thing is,
Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis is gone.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if they could like get someone that looks kind of like him and be his son.
yeah, maybe.
John
like
Turturro.
Zach Braff or something.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. Who knows? But I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Because that last
Stinker.
all girl,
I didn't see it.
It was horrible.
I didn't see it.
I couldn't. I watched
Put it this
part
way.
of it and
It was so bad, they gave it to me for free. It
Really?
just showed up. I had that Movies Anywhere account.
It just showed
It
up.
just showed up in there. I was like, what?
Here you go. Here,
Yeah.
this view.
Yeah, it was a
Like,
free.
no, I don't want it.
Yeah. We saw you looking at it, but you didn't buy it. Here it is for free.
Yeah, I just had no desire to see it, and it's not because it was a bunch of females doing it. It was just that you took a classic and I don't know, like
The storyline was kind of good, but I think they tried too hard to throw in shitty comedy into it. That was just the most of the jokes just didn't land. It just wasn't good.
yeah. Is that like I said, I didn't see it.
I don't really care for probably more than half of the actresses too. It's
Yeah.
I like Kristen Wiig. I like Melissa McCarthy. Like I like Leslie Jones actually
Yeah,
on SNL. I think she's pretty
but
funny.
they underutilized her in that movie.
Yeah.
though. They definitely did.
Well, just like the show does.
Yeah, because if you
No,
see
I like
her
Kristen
on,
Wiig a lot.
you watch her on Late Night with Conan,
Mm-hmm.
she's hilarious.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she's funny.
Yeah.
No, like I said,
She
I
don't
like
give
her,
a
but
fuck.
Nope.
Um,
On the video game side of things, Resident Evil 2 comes out tomorrow,
I saw
excellent.
that.
That's a remake. Yep.
which is January the 25th.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought games usually came out on Tuesdays.
That doesn't
Not anymore?
It's not like that anymore.
No?
Because remember, it used to be games on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
movies on Fridays.
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yep.
and it's not like
They don't do that anymore?
No.
Oh, okay.
Ever since the advent of all digital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just assumed that.
Yeah, it's funny because I was talking to someone about DVDs, and it's funny. A lot of people don't even own a DVD player anymore.
Yeah, I still have one.
Yeah, we do.
What I usually do now is just throw if I want to watch a DVD, I throw it in my Xbox.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I got a PlayStation. I don't own a DVD by
Yeah.
itself. I'll play
Yeah.
it through the PlayStation, a Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah, I think my DVD player just takes up a spot on the entertainment center.
Yeah.
Yep.
So coming up in next week, Netflix has Umbrella Academy. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Was that has to deal with
Sci-fi horror comic book written by Gerard Way, the singer of My Chemical Romance. He wrote probably 14 issues, and they made it into a series, a mini-series on Netflix. It looks pretty good.
That's next week.
Yep.
Brief description of what it's about. Do you know?
Well, based on what I read, because I read the comic years ago, it's like a private school.
So it's like X-Men or something?
Yeah, it's like X-Men. Or
Okay.
there's another show that's being advertised all
Deadly
the time.
Class?
Deadly Class.
on Sci-Fi.
It's almost exactly like
Actually
that.
looks pretty good.
Yeah,
I saw the trailer for that, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty.
yeah.
pretty
It's
good.
almost the same concept. It's almost like they kind of said,
Mhm.
"Hey, Umbrella Academy's coming out as a show. Let's steal it and make it our show."
Yeah. So it's sort of the same concept with teenagers that have powers or mutants or something, or
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Additional news: we have the Walking Dead movies. There's one in production right now.
Really.
Yes, and according to the guy that played Rick Grimes, what's his name?
Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln. He is starring in the first movie.
Nice.
So that'll be. What are they going to do? Are they going to rehash the TV show as a movie?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
That's a
not
good
sure.
question.
No one ever really said what's going on. But if he's in it and he's dead, then it's somewhere in that timeline,
He's
right?
not a very good actor.
He's not.
I don't know. I kind of liked him as Rick.
He was okay, but near the end, it seemed like everybody's acting started to get kind of shitty. I don't know if it's that they were just tired or,
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see that. This is the last thing we'll talk about. We talked about this before. The Morbius movie coming out by Sony. It's going to be out 2020. Jared Leto is playing Morbius. They've announced a few other cast members, but anyway, it's part of the Spider-Man universe. Morbius. The odd thing though is that Morbius, part of Spider-Man universe that Sony has, and Blade now belongs to Disney Marvel. But he's part of the Spider-Man universe too.
Yeah.
But apparently he wasn't a big enough character to be part of that contract, because that contract actually granted like 300 characters to Sony.
Really?
Yeah, like some
Wow.
crazy amount of characters, all from the Spider-Man universe, including I don't know if you saw the trailer for the new Spider-Man.
Yeah, with Mysterio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mysterio.
Jake
Wow.
Gyllenhaal.
Wow,
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, that's a good casting.
that blew my mind.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Not only that, they actually had him with the fishbowl on, man. I thought because of Jake Gyllenhaal, they wouldn't hide his face,
Right.
but for a short while there, they showed him with that on.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that movie.
Coming out this summer.
Yeah, July, right? So it's going to be a busy summer at least for comic book movies. Horror movies, it doesn't seem like there's a lot on the.
No.
I saw a couple trailers over the last week that of some
The
stuff
Conjuring
coming out.
3, I think, is.
Is it a different story? I did see they're also
Yeah, they're all different stories. The Conjuring ones, yeah.
they're also redoing the
different families.
Amityville.
Yes.
Yeah, that
I
actually
saw
looks pretty
that too.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
looked kind of good.
Yeah.
Amityville Murders or something like
Yeah.
that. It was called,
And
right?
it looks more in depth as to the family,
Yeah.
the guy that committed the murders,
Yes.
Yeah.
and that family environment.
Mhm.
So that story was never told before.
They
We had
incorporated that house into one of the video games. I saw like a
Really?
screenshot. They put the Amity house it's like an open map, and I guess you can walk by the Amityville house. It looked,
sweet.
looked kind of neat.
maybe that was like Grand Theft Auto, because Grand Theft Auto 5, it seems like that game has been out for years.
Yeah.
People are still playing it because it's such a big open world.
Hmm.
And you can pretty much do anything with all the hacking tools they have now. All right. So this month, top 5.
Yep.
I think I went first last time.
So I will go first. This time we are doing the top 5 black and white horror movies.
Yes.
Number 5, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Good
Okay.
one.
Reason why I chose that one is because in junior high school, they had a after-school event where we got to watch it in 3D.
Oh,
yeah,
fun.
I remember like you could get the glasses locally, like depending on where you went. Like some
Yeah.
of your local like grocery stores and stuff were carrying the glasses.
Yeah.
Was it on like channel like WPIX?
Yeah,
or
I
something?
think it was Channel 17, WPIX.
Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember because I was all looking forward to it too. It's like, oh, it's gonna be awesome, black and white.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 3D.
We had it on a projector at our junior high school.
Well,
And I remember watching it. And it was my first time seeing it because it was a classic horror movie that I never saw. And I was impressed. I liked it. I really did like it. So that's my number 5. My number 4 is The Body Snatcher, which starred Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi together.
Really?
Yes, it was a great movie.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
1940. I didn't write down the year. It's 1945, maybe. But it was good. And Body Snatcher is not like Invasion of Body Snatchers.
Right,
This is
yeah.
a guy that steals corpses. And then number 3, we will go with wait, did I mess that up?
Uh-oh.
I don't think so. Yeah, number 3 is Frankenstein, Boris Karloff.
Great movie.
Classic monsters, man. Universal monsters.
Yeah.
Love all of them. Love them all.
That one, they got that ride, or not ride, but more like a walkthrough thing at Universal Studios. It's got a lot of the classic horror.
Man, it's funny. I went to Universal in 2012. I can't remember anything about it.
No?
No. I just remember getting really sick on the Spider-Man ride.
oh,
No.
I got real nauseous.
They
from
got
that.
the one thing where they got like Universal classic movies, and they do a bit on the classic horrors.
Were you down for Halloween Horror Nights?
No, it was might have
That's in
been
Halloween Horror.
midsummer.
Yeah, that's Halloween Horror Nights you're talking about, Chris, right?
No, there's an actual. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's just a thing that like you kind of sit and go through, and they talk about classic Universal movies from like the beginning up until well, it was the present probably, but they do a brief thing on the classic horror movies.
Nice.
Yeah.
My number 2, the original Psycho.
Okay.
Good one.
That was one of those movies that they didn't show gore, but everything that they implied was just
Yeah.
You gotta love Hitchcock.
Yeah, scared the piss out of me.
He was good at that.
Oh, yeah.
The implied horror.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was one of those movies. I think we talked about it before. Is that it's one of those movies that set a crazy standard of killing the A-list celebrity in
the first slasher.
couple
We could
minutes.
say, right? We could say it's the first.
Definitely
slasher,
the first slasher. Yeah. And number 1, again, it's number 1 on multiple lists of mine. Dracula, 1931, Bela Lugosi. I mean,
Classic. I mean,
I just love that movie.
He is Dracula, you know. Like
when you think of Dracula, you think of
and
him.
when people do like the imitation of Dracula, it's his voice, you know. Like
it's never what's his name? Who's the guy that did horror of Dracula? Brain fart right now. The deep voice dude. Count Dooku. Star Wars.
Yeah, not Christopher Lee.
Yes,
Christopher Lee. Yeah, Christopher Lee. Yeah, that's it. Well, he was like the 70s Dracula, wasn't he? Or 60s?
50s. Yeah, he was the horror of Dracula.
He did some 60s stuff.
Or it might have been
70s.
60s. The horror of Dracula was 1960 something.
Yeah. He's my favorite Dracula.
Really?
I liked him
I like
too.
his voice,
Yeah.
and I like the way they shoot because it was in color.
Peter Cushing
obviously.
was in all those movies too with Christopher Lee. I like Peter Cushing too.
Yeah. But they always liked how Christopher Lee, whenever they showed a close up, like his eyes were always like bloodshot.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool.
And my honorable mention, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Those
I have it on VHS.
Those were all good too. They met the Frankenstein, they met the Invisible Man, they met the Wolf Man. They were all classics.
The Frankenstein one, I watched it until the VHS tape almost got worn through.
Really?
From the VCR.
It was threadbare.
Like, I watched it like every weekend when I was in.
That was
junior high school.
they did some good ones.
Yeah.
And it was also one WPIX on Saturday mornings.
Oh yeah.
They had like Godzilla, Abbott and Costello meets Dracula, Abbott and Costello meet Vampire.
Yeah, Abbott and Costello used to be on every weekend.
Yeah. It was one of those things you could count on.
And Laurel and Hardy.
Yes, and Laurel and Hardy.
I think they were usually on Sundays.
Yeah. All right.
With the Stooges and Little Rascals.
Craig, you ready?
I'm ready.
Top 5?
Yep.
Go for it.
Number 5, I went with The Eyes of My Mother. It's a newer movie.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's pretty good. You could probably
I
catch
think
it.
you told us about that one.
I may have.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, in brief, it's this woman sees her mother murdered, and she's sort of traumatized, and they sort of just go through what she's feeling and showing.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I enjoyed it. Number 4, I went with London After Midnight.
I haven't seen that one either.
Well, you're probably not going to because it burned in a vault in 1965.
Whoa.
So what they did is they have some still shots of a whole bunch actually, and what they did is they put the words in. So that's how.
So they do it kind of like an old school silent film,
Yeah. Yep.
but just pictures.
But it was from 1932, I believe. So
What's
it's
the
older.
what's the concept of the
Lon
movie? dude?
Chaney? It's sort of like a Phantom of the Opera-ish. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But like, I think the makeup, like Lon Chaney, was like when I was a kid. I just remember seeing it, and it was like the creepiest thing I saw. You know, when I was a little kid, it was kind of. You have to check out if you've never seen Lon Chaney in the makeup for London After Midnight. It's really cool.
Nice.
He's got like a top hat on, and
So is it kind of like the Jack the Ripper type thing, probably?
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. Number 3, I went with House of Wax, Vincent Price movie.
Oh, that is a good one.
Yeah, that is. I should have thought of that one. I always
Really good
think when I think of Vincent Price, I always think of his later movies that were color.
Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah,
Yeah, no, he had some early.
Actually,
House of Usher,
the
I think,
original
was
The
black and no, that
Fly was
colored,
black
I
and white
think.
too, right?
the original.
The
Yeah,
original.
Yep.
not quite as creepy as.
Yeah, no, House
Jeff
of Wax was
Goldblum,
awesome,
but-
and that was one of those movies we're talking about watching on television.
Yeah, that was
when
on
I
a
was
lot.
a kid, it was on PBS, public television. You know, the House of Wax.
But he made all those people wax.
Yeah, real
Were actual people.
Actual people. Yep.
That is her.
Number 2, I went with Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Very good. Yep.
Black and white, of course.
Yep. Classic.
Original zombie movie.
Yep.
Yep.
Set the standard for all zombie movies.
Yeah.
Yep. My number 1 was Psycho.
Nice.
Yeah. Always.
And then I had 2 honorable mentions. I went with The House on Haunted Hill, which is another black and white
Yeah,
Vincent Price.
that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was kind of creepy for
You
a
know
black
what?
and white older movie.
It's really funny because I just watched that on Amazon with my kids
Really?
a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
They
It's,
have it
it's-
on Amazon, the original black and white.
They remade that, didn't they?
Yes, it was terrible.
Like
Yeah,
in the,
the
like the
remake
90s, I
was-
think.
Oh, it
or
was
like
horrible.
Yeah,
Was
it had
was like
what's her
finger-raising.
Catherine
name?
Zeta-Jones?
No. It was
Yeah, it was terrible.
Bamke Jameson or whatever her name is.
Okay, yeah. She's
Yeah.
hot. I like her.
She's hot, but
Yeah, but
that the remake was horrible.
and the other one was it? 13,
And my kids didn't
13
like the
Ghosts
original.
Or other one. Dude,
Yeah.
that was another.
My
remake.
kids didn't like the original either because there's a lot of scenes in there that just are not scary by today's standards.
Yeah,
Like the one girl sees a ghost and it's just a girl like making his face and like the light is on her for a minute.
he
And-
just did the Lon Chaney from
Yeah.
London After Midnight character. That's it. He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and that's kind of what she did. And my kids were like, "That's not scary."
And yep, also another honorable man. I went with Nosferatu,
Ah, that's a good
Oh,
one.
very good.
just because the makeup in that,
Yeah.
kind of neat.
And he kind of got into the part.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, I'll go with mine now. My number 5 was Them. It's the gigantic ants.
Yep, I remember that.
It's like
Yeah.
after the nuclear testing,
Yep.
the giant ants
Yep.
came out of the ground, and I can't tell you how many times I saw that as a kid, and every time it was on, I just sit back down and watch it again. They made that like loud, like
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it was
squeaking
like
noise.
yeah.
You always knew they were coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it's kind of sci-fi, but also definitely I would think
Oh
horror.
yeah, absolutely.
Number 4, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Same thing. I just
Nice.
remember the 3D thing and like trying to find the 3D glasses so I
Yeah.
could watch it on
Yeah.
TV. Number 3, Frankenstein,
Very good.
which
yeah.
I think yours was number 3 too, which is
Yeah, it
kinda,
was
number 2, The Invisible Man.
the original. Yeah,
That was like I just kind of loved the fact that he just lost his mind, like just
Yeah.
the power that he had, and just like freaking out and like that like sinister laugh that he had, and like I that movie creeped me out.
That
Even
was
though-
always one character that I felt bad for when I was younger. I was like, for some reason, I would watch the movie and I felt bad for him. You know what I mean?
yeah, like it was kind of like you felt bad for him, but then he kind of just like lost his shit.
Yeah.
well, it makes you wonder. I mean, if you became the Invisible Man,
Right, and you
wouldn't
could
you lose your shit?
you
Like,
could
I
do
would-
whatever, or,
yeah.
like but no one could like see. Yeah, it was good, and I think the old one especially, just it was like the makeup and stuff, like doing it at that time period,
Yeah.
like showing the invisible guy was pretty impressive for the
yeah.
time.
Yep.
Number 1, Dracula.
Very good.
Yeah. Again, we discussed it just a few minutes earlier, so I won't go too much into it. I got a couple honorable mentions. Night of the Living Dead,
Okay.
Yep.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yep. The original is fantastic.
Yeah. And then I also had Young Frankenstein, which is not
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
a horror, but
No, it's still
It's
classified.
based off a horror,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's a
horror
horror
parody.
comedy, and I love horror comedy,
Yeah.
and I mean the cast in that movie is
Oh, yeah.
is phenomenal. So that was also an honorable mention of mine.
But there was some serious moment. I mean, it was a comedy.
Yeah, but there were serious
But
moments,
there
and there was
Gene Wilder. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That guy's a classic actor.
Yeah.
Marty Feldman is Igor, like
yeah.
a young Madeline Kahn yet,
Yes.
I like
yeah.
Madeline Kahn.
and Terry
Absolutely.
Garr was also.
Terry Garr
Terry
was
Garr
young
was-
and beautiful, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there was a star-studded cast in that movie.
Abby
Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah.
Abby something.
That's fantastic. That's great. That's awesome. That's a great list. We all picked out some really good ones. I like that.
Oh, speaking of, one of the trailers that I saw before, and I think I put it on the website.
Yeah, the-
Unseen.
Unseen.
It's
the
kind of like a new
Invisible Man
twist
type
on
thing.
the Invisible
Yeah.
Man. It was kind of cool the way, like his head's like.
Wow,
like
I like how when someone asked him like, "What's wrong with you?" and like you could see like into his head.
Yeah,
but
right?
His face was still there. Like,
yeah, it's kind of a neat take on it. Like he's
Yeah,
not
it'll be
totally
interesting.
invisible. He's like half visible, half invisible. He's like kind of
it's like he's fading away.
yeah. So that looked pretty good. That was one of the ones that I saw in the past like 2 weeks.
Yeah. That one looks like it is pretty good, but there's I just wish there was like more horror movies coming out.
One of the ones I saw, and when you should check the trailer out. It's a James Gunn movie actually. It's called Brightburn, It's got Elizabeth Banks in it. It's kind of hard to tell if it's going to be a horror or a sci-fi or somewhere in between.
Okay.
Check the trailer out. It looks it's a couple who's been trying to have a kid, and they can't have a kid. And then one day a spaceship crashes in the yard and it's got a baby in it. And so they raise this baby to be their own.
Yeah.
And then once he gets to be like 12 years old, some weird shit starts happening.
He eats him.
Well, there's one scene where you're not sure exactly what's going on. It looks pretty good. Like I said, it's a James Gunn movie, so
I'm sure it'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
He's made great horror movies in the past.
Yeah.
So
like Splinter
yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
So and there was another one called The Final Wish, but look that one kind of looks like it could be like a borderline
see that one,
teenage kind of thing.
Yeah.
They find this like ancient relic, and if you wish on it, the wishes come true.
That's a teen movie.
But the trailer actually didn't lead me to believe it would be. It didn't look bad. It's something that considering I haven't seen a whole lot of horror stuff, it didn't look horrible.
Yeah.
We got 3 from Hell coming.
Right.
So there's that. There's the It sequel.
Yep. Is that this summer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, I just saw they just wrapped post production on It Chapter 2.
Did they?
We also have Pet Sematary next month.
Yeah. Oh, that's next month.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that one looks like it's going to be something.
So we do have some, and there's always those ones that pop up later in the year that you hadn't heard of. That
And the latest trailer for Pet Cemetery, they show Zelda. Oh my god!
The new
fucking
the new
scary.
one. Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought she was creepy in the first.
Well, the thing about the first one is because I read the book first,
she is creepy.
and when I saw her in the movie, I was like, that's not how I pictured her in the book. Like in the book, she's a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She's young. Here it was like a fucking grown man.
older lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was a man in that costume, in that makeup. So it didn't match what the things that I saw in my head. It was terrifying, mind you.
Yeah.
But it just didn't come together the way I envisioned it.
Yeah, she
but
was
now they
creepy.
showed her as a 10-year-old girl.
Oh.
And they showed her back as she was like crawling down the hallway.
It's all like the spines.
Yeah, I was like, oh
twisted and-
fuck.
I'm gonna have to see it. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
She creeped me out. I was creeped out more by her than I was Gage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And in this one, I think just seeing that scene in the new trailer where she's crawling down the hallway, my hair stood up on my arm. I was like, fuck.
So I'm going to save it. I won't watch the trailer.
Yeah,
just gonna save
I'm-
it for the
I'm-
theater.
Yeah,
looking
that's
forward to
not a
that
bad
movie.
idea. Maybe I will wait.
So you're more
just-
creeped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zelda scared the shit out of me.
So there are some good ones coming out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they
it's
didn't
some-
really go into detail with the backstory of Zelda either in the first one. They just showed her in the room that one
Yeah.
time. It was
Well,
like,
because he was telling a story about his sister,
Yeah.
and then they did the flashback, and they show her like
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
creepy as
Yeah.
hell. But that's
Yeah.
in the book there was a whole lot more about her. Not only that, in the book there was a lot of other kids and neighborhood pets that got buried. Like there was one that I use as a name on some of my accounts online called Micmac,
Yeah.
which is one of the kids had a cat. And Micmac came back as like a fucking terrifying,
kind of like church.
the worse than church.
Oh,
It was,
wow.
like, fucking horrific. And I always use that name as one of my online screen names on
Micmac?
different things. Yeah, Micmac,
Nice.
because that fucking was the scariest part of the fucking book for me. That it was gross. But if they show that in the movie, I'll be completely satisfied.
Sweet.
Yeah, because my kids even asked me like 2 years ago, why do you have this? You know, because it was what game was I playing? It was one of my Switch games. I set up my account as Micmac. I'm like, what's Micmac? You know, it's a thing I use since I was in like junior high school. It's from Pet Cemeteries, one of the kids' pets that scared the shit out of me when I read the book. So I just use that name all the time.
So I think that movie Straight Jacket's playing next month as well, right?
Yes.
That's
So
a black and white.
that's one of the things
also.
I'm actually looking forward to is the first Saturday horror series, because
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of great stuff. They have The Thing.
That's the next one, right? The Thing?
Yeah.
Oh, and
that's
then
for
Straight Jacket.
February. Then Straight
Yeah,
Jacket
then
is
Straight
for.
Jacket.
I
the
kind of
next
like
month.
that they gave like a little
March.
intro and
March.
stuff too when we went. You
Well,
know,
they did that in the past. So this time it was this girl, but in the past there was just two guys, and one guy runs some sort of like horror memorabilia shop over in Allentown.
okay.
So he was sponsoring some of the movies.
All right, I see.
And then they would do a little talk before, and they even did a thing where they had like, if you're a fan of the movie, they had like a thing to win a poster.
Like trivia or something.
Yeah, they had like a trivia thing where they
That'd
would pick people from the
Fun.
audience
They give
and
you a poster.
ask you questions about the movie or whatever, and then give you one of the original this guy that runs this memorabilia, he had like posters
cool.
from movies that he was giving away. But It Chapter 2, I follow the director and his sister on Instagram, and they just posted the.
Is it the same
the wrap.
director? First.
Yep.
Yeah.
Manchetti or whatever his last name is.
Yeah. I think it is Manchetti.
Yeah. But the kids and I just watched It Chapter 1 last weekend again. It's just such a great movie.
Yeah. I mean, besides being creepy, it's a good movie.
Well, because they really played hard on that kind of kid coming of age thing.
Yeah.
Which the old TV miniseries didn't really do that.
No, it
very
didn't.
well. This is very much like this kind of coming of age. These kids around the same age dealing with bullies and shit in town.
Yeah, and they get you to care about the kids, so
Yeah.
that makes it even
Yeah.
scarier.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking about. I started looking up who the casting is.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Um,
that reminds me. James McAvoy is playing. Which kid's he playing?
Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
Bill, all grown
And
up. Yeah.
they interviewed him for Glass. You saw it?
I watched that video clip and he said it terrified him. It made him not.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård scared the crap out of him. He said he hated having to do those scenes because
He goes, Bill's a sweet guy. He's a great guy, really nice. But when he's in character and in that makeup, he has made me question being an actor.
because I
anymore.
guess he's always been afraid of clowns since he was a kid. So.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's.
Oh no,
that was
he's
awesome.
creepy. That voice he has.
Oh yeah. So I can't wait for that. I'm really looking forward to that one.
And the guy from SNL, he's also
Bill Hader.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, and I think what's the redhead girl's name? She's been in quite.
Jessica
Chastain.
Chastain.
Yeah, I think she plays.
And the guy that plays the Jewish kid, not a very famous guy, but the thing is, like, if they follow the book, he kills himself when they try to, get him to come back.
Oh, so he won't be in very long anyway.
Because think about it, he's the one that got his face engulfed by the lady with the flute.
Yeah.
And he freaking out, you guys left me alone. But yeah, he in the
that's
book,
right, in the library.
When,
Right,
when they start calling them back to come back into town to take care of it.
Well, yeah,
'cause
that
it's still
happened on
alive.
the first USA.
Yeah, in that one, he slid his wrists in the tub.
Tub.
He was on the phone. He left his wife. He went upstairs, got in the tub, and slid his wrist.
Yep.
I'm not sure how they'll portray his suicide in the new movie, but so we have the first Saturday horror series. February 2nd is The Thing. March.
Is it the original or is it the one with?
It's the color. The second.
Kurt
one.
Russell. Yeah,
Kurt
the
Russell.
Kurt
Yeah.
Russell one.
Straight Jacket is March 2nd,
Okay.
which really looks good. I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, me
No,
neither.
I haven't either.
I'm very interested in seeing that one. And the original Nightmare on Elm Street is April 6th.
Nice. That's just
one of my
announced,
favorites.
I
Yeah.
think, isn't
So
it?
February, March, April, that's already laid out. They don't have anything else on the schedule at the moment. But
It was
I know
pretty full there for the Changeling. I thought. I was surprised. How many people were there?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that because imagine how busy Nightmare on Elm Street's going to be.
Yeah. Considering it was
It's
it started at 9:45,
Yeah.
and it was a Saturday night. There was an impressive amount of people there.
Yeah. So speaking of the Changeling, let's get on to our movie.
Yeah.
So Frank Banco, Ale House Cinemas, first Saturday horror events. We went to first Saturday of January
Yep.
to see The Changeling. Now, I've seen The Changeling a dozen times as a kid.
A dozen times.
At least a dozen
I
times.
think
That's
I
crazy.
thought I saw it as a kid, but then as I was sitting there watching, I'm like, yeah, I was thinking of a different movie. It's not something that
There was a remake in the early 2000s with
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman that was fucking horrible.
I think I saw it a long time because it
I thought I
familiar
did.
to me,
It
but-
didn't ring a bell. When I was sitting there watching it, I was like, yeah, maybe I didn't see this.
The thing about it is, by today's standards,
Yeah, I think that was.
it's not scary.
It didn't age well.
Nope.
No.
It didn't age well. I think that was my problem
Yep,
with it.
and I agree.
The storyline was great.
And it had some good music, the old school used the music to kind of draw
Yep.
you into the mood of the horror.
Yeah.
I dug that.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing about it as a kid, though, is that the haunting aspect of it scared the crap out of me.
right.
Like the moments where you hear the banging when he's laying in bed at night.
Yeah.
I couldn't tolerate that as a kid. It scared the freaking shit out of me.
Now you've seen so much worse and heard so much worse that
My God, yes.
all right, what's coming? What's coming next?
Yeah.
Oh wait, that was it?
Yeah. So it did not.
Yeah.
It definitely did not hold up as well. Although I will say, I still say the acting was good.
Yeah, it was.
I still say the story premise was good.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't scary enough. I'm sure by the standards when that was released, it was terrifying.
Yeah. And I think too, because it was at 9:45 and I had a couple beers.
Yeah.
It took a while for it to
Yeah,
build.
it was a slow burn for sure.
It was
Definitely.
it was a slow burn.
Definitely.
And then again, this goes back to what we just said. When it finally did kind of kick in,
Yeah, you're like-
it didn't kick it. It was more of like a than,
Yeah.
an explosion. Like I was late, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. And I'm like, well, yeah, all right.
Yeah, yeah. And then at the end, the way they wrapped it up, it kind of all exploded at once there. And the house is on fire, the wheelchair's on fire, the guy that was fake is going upstairs in the fire.
Yeah.
The guy that was living in the house is laying on the ground looking at the fire. It was just there was just too much,
Yeah.
all smacked down at the end there. For that slow burn to get to that point at the end. And they never kind of fill in the gap of like, how did that imposter just show up in the house?
Yeah.
He just magically appeared there. He just
Yeah.
manifested into the house. I don't know. But yeah, it was definitely didn't hold up. But like I said, it's a classic. It's actually rated as probably a higher level in the top 100. And then even Martin Scorsese says it's in his top 10
Wow.
for horror films that he's
Really?
ever seen. Now, probably going by the same standards that I was going by when he was younger.
Right.
When he first saw it, as he was a young film director, he sees that movie and he's like, it's brilliant, it's great, I love it, it's terrifying. But you look at it in the year 2018 and you go, I've seen Saw.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing. Like I show my daughter some stuff that I liked, when I was her age,
Yeah.
and she's like, I don't know, it's not that scary. I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh, this is a classic. Come
Yeah,
on.
Yeah.
So
We had the same problem there because my daughter, with her first handful of horror movies, was Saw 1, Saw 2, Saw 3.
how do you top that?
Yeah, once you introduce someone to that, all this other shit
Yeah.
is like peanuts,
I know
like a
the
walk
first,
in the park.
The first horror movie my youngest daughter saw was Dead Silence.
Which is pretty
she
scary.
was- yeah,
Yeah.
it was. She was like begging me to watch it. I was like, I don't know. I'm like, and then I like broke down. She was terrified. Like she
Didn't
couldn't
sleep for a week?
Oh no, yeah, it was like.
Nice.
So that was like her first. So it's like, yeah, everything she went, she watches stuff now. Like,
Yeah, it wasn't as scary as that Dead Silence.
yeah.
Yeah, because that one. But yeah, it's. So let's talk a little bit about the movie in terms of the film quality. So that was a 35 millimeter print,
Yeah, she told us that
Yep.
at the beginning of the
and it was a restored print.
yeah.
It looked pretty good.
It
Yeah.
did.
There was a little bit of film graininess that happened.
Not
every
too
now
bad,
and then,
though,
but
I
it
didn't
was
think.
not that bad. No,
No, I
definitely.
didn't think it was bad.
And the sound quality was still pretty good too. Which
Very
was
good,
kind
I
of
thought,
impressive.
considering.
Yeah.
Like it actually was kind of in stereo in
Yeah.
that theater.
Yeah. I think perhaps now I say the acting is good.
What
but
year was that again? I don't remember.
82?
was it 82?
I want to say 82. Because it came out the same year as another
See,
Good
that's
horror
after,
movie.
That's after Jaws. and
1980.
Star Wars.
80.
Yeah.
See, I take it back. It's not good quality.
Really?
If you look at Star Wars and Jaws and those movies,
Yeah, that's true.
But you got to
Star
look at.
Wars. I mean, come on, Star Wars made before that.
Well, here's the thing. Look, The Changeling, 1980,
Yeah.
mystery thriller is what it's labeled as,
So it's not even a
Yeah.
horror, really. It's mystery thriller.
and Rotten Tomatoes gives it 80% viewers.
Well,
IMDb 7.3 out of 10. Roger Ebert back in the day.
I never agree with those.
3 out of
people
4.
Either. I don't.
Again,
Doesn't mean I'm right.
yeah.
I think George C. Scott overacted a little bit. He was very dramatic about scenes that didn't seem
Yeah.
to need to have that kind of dramatic acting in it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the scene when he was in the house and he's yelling up the stairs, it just didn't. It seemed like he was pushing it too much, right?
Yeah.
But I'll say that. I mean, I'm just looking at IMDb. Like this thing has won so many awards back in 1980 when it came out.
crazy.
Yeah, you look at the Canadian Screen Award for Best Screenplay, Golden Screen Award, won Golden Globe Award for Best Actor.
Golden Globe?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Best Achievement in Sound Editing.
Yeah, but it's hard for us to remove ourselves from what we've seen and know.
Right.
To go back to that moment and look at it through those eyes, you know?
Yeah, but like I said, if you look back, Star Wars was made before that movie.
But even Star Wars, if you look at the original Star Wars today,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're right.
And we probably don't even see an original cut anymore. It's all
they're all modified
Remastered.
now. There's
CGI dropped in it. And new scenes.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I went in there with an open mind, and I really wanted to like it.
Yeah, and they said something about that seance scene too. They were like, it was the best, and it still like holds up as one of the best seance scenes. And I was like, I was watching, I'm like, really?
Yeah, no,
Nope.
No, it was.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because the whole movie, I'm like, okay. And then when that started, I'm like, okay, this is the scene that's supposed to be the scene.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, finally, let's go.
It just dropped the turd on your lap, right?
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to talk bad about it because it's got all those awards.
Let's take a look at the release of this in 1980. So the film was won a bunch of awards in Canada because this film was produced and created in Canada. And in Canada, George C. Scott is a foreign actor. He won the Canadian Best Foreign Actor Award that year for this picture.
He's a great actor, eh?
Yeah. Hoser. And then you look at historically here, you have Bravo lists this as number 54 in the top 100 scariest movies of all time.
54 out of 100?
Yep. Martin Scorsese says Changeling is number 11 on his list of top 100 scariest films he's ever seen. Number 11 out of 100.
Wow.
And that's Martin Scorsese.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to disagree with Martin on this one. I kind of feel weird that I didn't like it more, but I just didn't.
So it has such a cult following. In 2001, December of 2001, Precipitol Records re-released the soundtrack in limited quantities.
The soundtrack wasn't bad. I'll give them that. The soundtrack, I kind of liked the music.
They released 1,000 copies of a 2 CD deluxe set.
Probably got snatched up in a heartbeat
Sold
too.
in a minute. Sold out in a minute. Gone.
I'm gonna have to watch it again one day, like not at like 9:45 at night after a couple beers, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it another shot.
When you're feeling like a nap in the afternoon sometime.
So during the time of this release, Roger Ebert was writing for the Chicago Sun-Times. In his review, he said, if it only took craftsmanship to make a haunted house movie, The Changeling would be a great haunted house movie. It had all the technical requirements, beginning with the haunted house itself. But it doesn't have the sneaky sense of awful things about to happen.
No.
It lacks
that
real
I agree.
Emotional and
that
rationale of
we
the
were
hero.
Talking about too. That slow burn. It's like it just nothing. He's playing piano.
Right. He says here, you never
Smoking
really get the
cigarettes.
sense of any danger.
Smoking a lot of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's true. Like you never felt the malevolence of the spirit that was in there. You knew it was there, but it never like gave you like a sense to fear it. Really.
No. And he follows it up by saying, "Look, Scott makes the hero so rational, normal, and self-possessed that we never really feel that he's in any danger.
Yeah, he didn't come off.
He
that
goes
was
through the
frightened
movie
at all.
far too confident."
Yes.
And I agree.
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Very good, Roger
He nailed
Ebert.
it.
I agree.
He nailed it.
And I think that is the element that was missing from that film.
Yeah, it was something, and I never felt any dread at all. Like
From
And
him.
that's right. Dread is the feeling I did not feel.
I never
during
felt
the-
dread at
no.
all. Like in Hereditary, like there was that constant, and
Oh, God.
there was always that weird
Tension.
buzz kind of in the back too that you would
Yeah,
hear once in a
just
while.
unnerving.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Same with Haunting of Hill House.
Yes.
You felt dread.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to join a call for work. And,
All right, we were going to discuss our top 5 for next week real quick.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
I said maybe. Well, we'll open
Either
up
or.
for discussion. I said maybe lady villains.
And I said top 5 kill scenes.
Wow, top 5 kill scenes would be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Holy shit.
I don't know. I said I
You
don't
got
know.
anything? Any other suggestions?
I said I don't know if I know 5 lady villains. I could
Sure
probably
who
find.
Zombie played a
Yeah.
bunch. Right?
Would she be in my top 5 though? Well, she was pretty
How about
good as
this?
baby.
Top 5 humanoid-based monster movies.
Can I get 5?
Bipedal.
Right.
Has to represent similar to human in some way.
Right, but not totally human.
Can't be total human.
Okay. Yep. We can
Can
do it.
be used to be a human, but is now this monster.
All right. We
Werewolf?
could do it. We could do it.
A werewolf would count.
Yeah, I got
Swamp Thing would count. Chud would count. You know, you got a couple options there, right?
it. Yeah. Okay, we could do it.
They can't be.
Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, they can't be human, so it can't be
A zombie.
vampires or zombies. Because a vampire, they still look like a human. They just
Talk and
yeah. And I think we should cancel werewolves out of that too, because they're still human, but they transform into a beast temporarily.
Yeah.
I'm talking humanoid animals, monsters, whatever you want to call them, that are part of the killing.
do
and whatever.
shapeshifters that can change into a human but aren't typically human in nature count?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because that's not a human. It's a monster that can look like a human.
Gotcha.
Yeah?
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
Sure.
I mean, there should be plenty of options there.
Yeah. So they were never human.
No. They could have been human and turned into something else.
Gotcha.
But it can't be like they can go back and forth
Okay.
like a vampire or werewolf. It's got to be something like
Well,
you said, Toxic
Chud.
Avenger, Chud, something where they were horribly deformed by chemicals and turned into a creature.
Zombie, because the zombie's not.
No, because that's still human. They're just dead,
All
right?
right.
Reanimated.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
I'm just off the top of my head right now. I can.
No, I
can
got.
think
I
of
got.
8.
I got my number one probably. Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
sound good?
Yeah, all right.
That works.
Humanoid horror. Let's do movie.
Okay.
Top 5 humanoid horror movies, and that means humanoid villain, humanoid monster, human whatever. Bipedal, so it can't be like what was that? What was that movie from the early '80s where the bear that got was chemically altered? Prophecy. Remember Prophecy?
Yeah.
Where the bear was like fucking mutated and killing people.
Yeah, speaking of a bear, I saw Annihilation.
Yeah, how was that?
Bear scene
What'd you think of that?
Good.
That scared the shit out of my daughter. She
I
had
haven't seen it
nightmares
yet.
about that scene.
with the
I haven't
bear.
seen it yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when that lady's voice.
Actually, I think
would
it's
come
on Prime now.
You
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
see it.
I think it's available on Prime now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like.
through. Yes.
You got to watch it.
All right. Maybe I'll do that this weekend.
The end
Yeah.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blew
I'll
my
check it
mind.
out. I wanted to see it.
Yeah. I don't understand why it got such bad reviews. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks.
See you next month.
Yep.